今天要好好来介绍所谓的 signposting phrases， 特别是如何利用在你即兴演讲或者是回答问题的时候，让你听起来更有说服力。Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast。I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast. 我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast. This episode, we want to cover something we dealt with a few months ago in Premium, but it came up again in the episode talking about how to sound more mature when you're very young. And that was the idea of signposting phrases. But in Premium, we talked about the power of signposting is not actually in a presentation. That's a very common piece of advice, very basic foundational level stuff for presentation. But where we find signposting to be incredibly powerful and well worth practicing is not in a formal presentation that you have prepared, but it's actually a habit to create when you're answering questions in an impromptu style.
说起来这种英文简报，这种非常多的教材里面都有提到 signposting phrases. For example, first, second, third, last but not least. 类似像这样子的我们都称为 signposting phrases. 那其实这种的非常的多啦，很好去 Google， 很好去找。而且当你准备好 presentation 的时候，这些都不难。Okay, because you can prepare for them. 但是呢，如果你能够把这些 signposting phrases 利用在即兴的回答问题这种 Q&A 的时候，你听起来会真的非常有说服力，而且呢，听起来就像一个领导者。
In our Premium, Andrew, during our sharing session, was reflecting back on the times that he felt people sounded the smartest in large meetings, like giving examples of when he used to work for the science part of the UN, and you would have all these very accomplished, potentially Nobel Prize winning scientists in a room, or working with VCs where you have a lot of very successful people in the room, but the ones who really stand out are not necessarily the ones who are using the biggest phrases, they're sounding the fanciest. It's the one who can bring a logic to any kind of discussion, any kind of question. He says when they get asked a question, they will just like pause for a minute. And the first thing that'll come out of the mouth is like, okay, there's two things that I have to think about this, or there are 3 steps to handling this. That predicating or giving a context of what's important and then going through, okay, step 1, step 2. They may have made it up on the spot. That's not something that they prepared. It was just a way to construct an argument that makes other people go, oh, wow, this guy's really thought about that.
Absolutely. 尤其是在这种很 spontaneous 的这种 Q&A， 尤其是很多人工作已经蛮久了，一定会有人问你，诶，你这个专业啦，那你要怎么回答这个问题？你的经验是什么？ Knowing how to answer that question on the spot, just like what Nick said, maybe 你只是边想边讲，但是如果你能够用到这些 signposting phrases, we can also say, okay, this is my experience, and here are the 3 reasons, right? 你马上就能够用一个数字去代表 OK, 只有3个，只有2个。那当然通常我们不要超过3个了。When you go to like above 3, people start to like, oh my god.
Yeah, here's my 10-point plan. Oh, crap.
Exactly. 所以其实真的能够在你这种 Q&A 的回答问题的时候，你能够利用 signposting phrases, I really think that's probably the smartest way to do that.
And the beauty of using this is also it gives yourself time to think.
Yeah.
Because when you sit there for a second and then go, all right, there are 3 key reasons why. Maybe you've only thought concretely about 1 or 2 of them. But while you're explaining, it gives you a chance to reflect. and be like, okay, so the first thing is this. And then in the middle of the first thing, you may realize, oh, there's some key component. And that immediately becomes, so the second thing
exactly.
is this, right? So it sounds really intelligent, but the reality is, in some cases, you're just buying yourself time.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you have very logically structured your answer. And that just sounds impressive. It sounds way more impressive than fancy vocabulary words. It sounds way more impressive than any kind of sentence. But anyone in a impromptu speaking or impromptu Q&A session where someone's like, okay, that sounds like a really interesting plan. What are the biggest challenges? I didn't hear a lot about the challenges. And then someone can turn around and go, I think there are 2 key challenges. Number 1, and then just say whatever you think the most important one is and buy yourself time to say number 2. Now that person's going to be like, wow, they prepared. They were ready for this question.
Here's another signposting phrases that we could use is we could do a little recap for ourselves, right? 有的时候边想边讲，你也不知道你到底会讲几个 points. Maybe 你讲到第3个好了，差不多了。Let me do a little recap. So this is what I said so far. I said A, B, C. Right? 这个也会让你听起来非常的有说服力，因为你听起来就是一个思绪非常清楚的人啊，然后你还有办法帮自己做一个总结。So I do think in the very beginning, you opened with signposting phrases and you could do a little recap for yourself in the very end. So since tomorrow we're entering into our New Year holiday, Nick, what's your plan for the holiday?
I really just have 2 things I want to accomplish on my holiday. 1, not work. That is relaxation central. 2, sleep more. During the work days, up late, trying to put stuff together, early in the morning, have to get into the office and get things done. So, not seeing outside of my bed before 11 a.m., I think sounds like a perfect plan. What about you, Sherry?
For me, here are the couple things I'm going to do. 1, I'm not going to work. I really wanted to just stay away from content creation for a little bit to just kind of recharge. Number 2, spend a lot of time with my daughter because she's growing up. Time is flying really fast. And number 3 is to have a little me time. I don't know how that's going to happen, but that's basically my plan.
That sounds very well thought out.
Again, I'm thinking as I go. But 我觉得透过刚刚这个问题，虽然这个问题是非常 relaxing, casual, 但是如果你还是能用 signposting phrases 来回答的话，听起来就是 a little bit more authoritative.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed this quick tip right before the New Year holiday. We genuinely encourage you to take this holiday to relax, but once you get back to the work early February, consider the next time you're in a presentation or the next time that you just get thrown a question, signpost it. It's way more impressive when it happens in real time as opposed to a prepared presentation. You will be pretty shocked at people's reaction to like, oh my gosh, it's so well thought out and structured.
So smart.
Yeah, I totally made that up. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.